Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnerships with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. Smithville Fiber Internet Security Solutions and Voice in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Bunger and Robertson Attorneys at Law, utilizing 75 years of experience, knowledge, and resources to help individuals and families recover in personal injury matters. Information at lawbr.com. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. Indiana University students converged on Dunn Meadow Thursday, demanding IU divest from entities that support Israel as the war in Gaza continues. IU is following a national movement of pro-Palestine protesters on college campuses. Brown County schools are asking voters to pass a referendum they say is needed to keep the corporation from drastic cuts.
Brown County kids are worth it. Just like Bloomington's kids are worth it, Columbus's kids are worth it, Edinburgh's kids are worth it.
County voters turned down a referendum in the last election. And we take a look at what to expect in next week's trial about annexation in Bloomington. We'll have these stories plus the latest news from across the state right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Well, protesters rallying against the Israel-Hamas war are digging in at the Indiana University Bloomington campus. That despite a heavy police presence and dozens of protesters arrested. Higher education reporter Aubrey Wright joins us from Dunn Meadow, where protesters are continuing to clash with police.
Hey Joe, I'm here at Dunn Meadow. There's about 100 protesters behind me. It's a prayer right now, but they have about 10 tents set up, which is a little bit less than yesterday. Protesters have told me they do expect a police presence today. I was here yesterday, and today protesters seem more energized and organized. The protesters are with the IU Divestment Coalition, made up of students and faculty. They set up about 15 tents in Dunn Meadow yesterday morning. They want IU to divest from weapons manufacturers as the Israel-Hamas war continues. And they want top leaders, including the IU Bloomington Provost and President Pamela Whitten, to resign.
This institution is integrally complicit in genocide structurally due to the way that it funds and material being sent to arm the genocide.
Hundreds gathered on campus in Dunn Meadow. Before the police came, the group was chanting, making signs, and pitching tents.
I'm not sure why this couldn't have been handled by unarmed individuals simply stating what the rules were and when we were violating them. I can't fathom any situation in which peaceful, very clearly nonviolent demonstrators are to be met with shields and police batons.
Police formed a blockade with their riot shields, giving protesters 5 minutes to clear out their encampment. After neither line budged, the troopers started moving forward, coming head-to-head with the protesters. Troopers threw protesters to the ground and placed them in temporary cuffs. Police tackled some protesters who tried to flee. A few others were dragged from tents, unwilling to leave after the troopers marched forward. 33 people were arrested. Alina Neeson-Thomas was one of those detained.
I was hit in the head by a shield and I believe possibly a gun. It's a little blurry in my mind. It was very fast. I got pulled out by the police by my shoulder, pushed down multiple times and pulled away.
Thomas and other protesters were booked at Monroe County Jail on suspicion of criminal trespass and later released. She says they're banned from campus.
This is our right to assemble and we're advocating for Gaza, and I would say that this won't really it will damper like my personal ability to protest, but really we're here as a whole movement.
The camp at IU follows a national trend of student protesting for Palestine. Across the U.S., students are creating encampments and calling on universities to cut ties with Israel. Many of these protests are also met with arrests and forced removal.
All of these students on all these schools are asserting their power, asserting their voice, and asserting their demands from their university.
Witten emailed faculty yesterday saying the university protects free exchange of ideas and civil protests. But she says after the university learned about the protests 2 days ago, Provost Rahul Srivastava created an ad hoc committee that changed the policy that has been in place for more than half a century. The new policy says temporary structures, including tents and posters, must be approved in advance. Faculty are protesting the university's decision to change the policy. They reacted to Thursday's protests by staging a protest of their own this morning outside of Bryan Hall.
Because what has happened is such a violation of the most fundamental trust that our students and our families place in us.
Protesters have told me they have no plans to stop anytime soon. Those who were arrested yesterday are not permitted on campus, but that didn't stop some. As for the others, it's unclear if they'll be camping out in Dunn Meadow overnight.
Okay, Aubrey, thanks so much. I know you'll have more online later. Right now, we're joined by Dan Conkle, a professor of law emeritus at IU's Maurer School of Law. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks so much for being here. So much to talk about. Two-part question I want to start with right away, though. What do you make of the university seemingly changing its free speech policy the night before the event, but also seemingly targeting it to a specific event?
Well, that's the potential problem the university faces from a First Amendment standpoint. The university would be free, if it did so without regard to content, to prospectively impose a rule such as no structures, no tents. The problem here, as your question suggests, is that the university, by the admission of the president, specifically was concerned about this protest, which at least raises the possibility that it could be challenged, that the new policy could be challenged as being based on the viewpoint or the content of the protest, which would be highly problematic. One other problem with the newly adopted last-minute change in policy is that by every indication it does not contain specified criteria for the permitting of such structures, which the new policy purports to permit. The Constitution would require specification of criteria that are not based on content, and it doesn't seem to do that.
So there were nearly 3 dozen arrests yesterday, and many given trespass violations, also ordered to stay off campus for a year. Is there any precedent for that?
I don't know if there's precedent for it, but in my view, those trespass notices should be unenforceable. In other words, as to IU affiliated personnel, faculty on the one hand, students on the other, those notices are tantamount to a 1-year suspension, maybe under an unconstitutional law that gives rise to the trespass prosecutions in the first place, without any notice, without any due process. In my view, that is rather plainly unconstitutional. As to unaffiliated, those unaffiliated with IU, these kinds of trespass notices have been done in the past, and they raise much less significant issues.
So we're seeing this unfold across the country at other universities. Are other universities doing similar to IU?
I think to some extent, the University of Texas had a clear out situation with police. I don't know, but in my history at IU for sure, the idea of heavily armed police with assault weapons removing protesters and tents based on, even if it is a violation of a lawful tent policy, to me is truly extraordinary, an overreach by the university, and I hope the decision makers, in fact, can try to defend this based on the claims of safety concerns. Why you would go after tents if there is a serious threat of a safety problem, I think would have to be explained to me. I'm not quite sure how that logic works.
Okay, one more question. So what happens now? Do you expect the trustees to get involved?
I hope they do. They may have already been involved. I don't know whether President Witten acted on her own, whether this was with the authority and approval of the trustees. I understand that there has been a suggestion that the trustees ought to, in fact, authorize an independent investigation of this episode to see what happened, what the rationale was, and whether or not this type of episode should be prevented in the future. I just walked over here. There are more tents right now in Dunn Meadow. Will the police be back later today to do the same thing? I worry about that.
Professor, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Joe.
Well, whoever wins the May 7th GOP gubernatorial primary will be the favorite in November's general election. This week's debate was the last to be televised before the primary vote. 5 of Indiana's 6 Republican gubernatorial candidates participated. U.S. Senator Mike Braun opted to stay in Washington, D.C. for foreign aid vote. Sarah Whitmire reports the 5 remaining candidates didn't focus on the front runner's absence. Instead, they pushed their own platforms.
Whoever wins the May 7th GOP gubernatorial primary will be the favorite in November's general election. With Braun absent, many of the attacks were aimed at Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch. Of particular focus in those attacks was her campaign's tentpole issue, a pledge to eliminate Indiana's income tax. Former Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill said the state needs a comprehensive approach to tax reform.
The income tax, axe the tax proposal is a gimmick. It's not realistic.
Former State Commerce Secretary Brad Chambers says Crouch isn't credible on the issue.
Listen, Suzanne Crouch and Mike Braun, in their 50 years of combined service, public service, have raised taxes 50 times.
And at that, Crouch hit back.
My opponents are entitled to their own opinions, but they're not entitled to their own facts. And as a state representative, I cut taxes a dozen times.
Crouch is a familiar name since she ran twice alongside current Governor Eric Holcomb. Holcomb is barred by term limits from seeking re-election. Candidates have often attacked Holcomb's tenure, particularly over restrictions he implemented during the COVID pandemic. Hill attacked Crouch over mask mandates, saying she deserves blame for backing them too.
I believe in liberty, freedom. That's why when the Holcomb-Crouch administration announced its mask mandate in 2020, as your Attorney General, I put a stop to it.
Once a rising star in Indiana politics, Hill has struggled to keep up with other contenders' fundraising. Hill lost the Republican delegation nomination in 2020 following allegations that he groped 4 women. Also running is Jamie Reitenauer, a political novice who has promised to appoint the leader of the Hamilton County Moms for Liberty as the state's Secretary of Education.
K through 5, we're going to restore the focus on academics, unlike what was set up here on stage. There is a heavy focus on CRT and SEL that is taking up classroom time.
Chambers' leadership on the Indiana Economic Development Corporation put him in opponents' sights several times during the debate.
Big problem here is that the IEDC is a shadow government. So all these wonderful things that Brad talks about, that's fine if you're playing above board and playing with an open deck.
Former head of the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, Eric Doden, is the one candidate who didn't argue with his fellow candidates. He remained focused on his campaign talking points.
And we have more plans in writing than everyone on this stage combined.
Braun is considered the front runner in the crowded field. Outgoing Governor Holcomb has not endorsed a candidate. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Sarah Whitmire.
The political arm of Indiana's largest teachers union is putting its resources behind Democrat Jennifer McCormick in the race for governor. The head of the Indiana State Teachers Association says teachers, parents, and students want a governor with a forward-thinking and inclusive message built by personal experience in schools. Now they say McCormick will provide that.
That message will get out, and that in turn is what we believe will help drive policy change.
McCormick says she'll be a common sense voice for bipartisanship in the State House.
We are not going to survive as a state if we are uneducated and unhealthy. We have got to fight for our teachers and our kids.
McCormick is unopposed in the Democratic primary. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. The city of Bloomington will be in court next week defending its decision to annex 2 areas of the county. And Brown County schools are asking county residents to approve a referendum they say is needed to prevent cuts. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
We cover all the angles. We report the facts. We find clarity. PBS is here, delivering the credible, reliable, thoughtful election coverage you need to make informed decisions. PBS, your trusted election source.
The way humans make sense of the world is through stories. We've got to go ahead and start training to go to Mars.
And liftoff.
We pay tribute to all who serve and who have served.
Civilization is precious. Life is precious.
Artists here are making a difference. I'm trying to seek redemption.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. The 5-day annexation bench trial of areas on Bloomington's southwest side begins Monday. Special Judge Nathan G. Nykirk of Lawrence Circuit Court will hear arguments from annexation of areas 1A and 1B. Those are the two proposed annexed areas that had more than 51% of remonstrance signatures, but less than the 65% needed to overturn annexation.
The longer this goes on, the more divisive it has become, and that's not because of efforts by us. It's just a unilateral, by definition, an involuntary annexation.
In 2021, former Mayor John Hamilton called the annexation historic steps to right-size the city after 17 years. Mayor Carrie Thompson says further action from her administration may need to wait until the lawsuits are resolved. The other 5 areas reached the more than 65% threshold to void annexation, but those areas are being challenged by the city in a separate case, claiming a 2019 state law about remonstrance validity is unconstitutional. Trial begins 9 a.m. Monday at the Monroe County Justice Building. Now we're joined by Paul Helmke, the director of IU Civic Leaders Living Learning Center, for more. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Great to be on.
It's been a busy show. We only have a couple minutes, but we really did want to see a little bit about this. We talked about this annexation for so long, but we just heard from residents against it. What's the city going to have to prove?
Well, this is going to be a very interesting lawsuit because the law changed in the mid-2010s. It used to be when a city wanted to annex, all they had to show was contiguity and that they could provide services. And around 2015, the state legislature said now in a situation like this, the city has to show that it's in the best interests of the people that live there. I'm not sure there's ever been a trial that deals with the best interests. So the city's going to try to talk about, we're going to provide you better services than you have now, and that this is going to help the entire community respond to threats, take advantage of opportunities.
And then those against annexation are going to say...
They're going to say the opposite. They're going to come in and they're going to say, we're happy with what we've got. We don't want to pay any higher taxes. This could affect county government's ability to provide some services, township ability to provide services, and just leave it the way it is. So it's really two different visions on what a community should look like in the future, and it's going to be a tough one for the judge to decide.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask. So what's the judge going to be looking for from both sides? Is there a precedent to look at for the judge?
Well, there's not really a precedent in Indiana. Again, this best interest standard is pretty new. It's and so how do you judge what's in the best interest? And this is where I think the city's going to be looking at the broader scope of things. It's been 20 years since we've annexed. For Bloomington to continue to grow and prosper and thrive, we need to expand our boundaries to reflect the economic and demographic reality. But again, the folks that are there are going to say, hey, we're fine where we are. That's why we moved here. We don't want to be part of the city.
One more quick question. Does annexation law need to change in Indiana? I mean, you're no stranger to the annexation.
I annexed a lot of areas when I was mayor of Fort Wayne, but it helped make Fort Wayne a stronger city. And I think Fort Wayne's doing well today because of those annexations. I think that these artificial boundary lines should reflect where people actually live and work and how they do business. And that means the lines should change, in my mind, when people start living in those areas. But there's a lot of specific issues here that need to be taken care of, too.
It's going to be a full week, I assume.
I think it's going to be a busy 5 days of trial. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Great to be here.
We're joined now by Callie Lichter for more headlines from around the state. Hi, Callie.
Hi, Joe.
A Mississippi man being held in the Jackson County Jail died Tuesday evening. Indiana State Police say 35-year-old Antonio Fox collapsed in a holding cell while speaking to jail staff. They say jail personnel administered life-saving measures before EMS arrived, and hospital staff in Seymour later pronounced Fox dead. It's the third death at the jail in Brownstown in the past 3 years. Tanisha Chappelle and Josh McLemore died within months of each other in 2021. The MCCSC Board of Trustees passed a resolution that will merge Childs and Templeton Elementary Schools starting in the 2025-2026 school year. Superintendent Jeff Oswald says the goal of the merger is to create a better socioeconomic status balance between elementary schools in the district. Students in pre-K through 2nd grade would attend Childs, while Templeton will get 3rd through 6th grades. Parents have been worried about transportation barriers under this plan.
How can we trust you that you can merge two schools when you have promised to share research and haven't, when you have promised to publish a webpage and haven't?
Plans for the merger have been complicated by a February resolution to examine options for redistricting all MCCSC schools. The MCCSC board has appointed Markay Winston the interim superintendent. She will serve from this July through next June as the board looks to succeed Jeff Oswald. His contract was bought out after 3 sometimes tumultuous years as superintendent.
I promise to keep an open mind as I strive to learn more about the needs of our teachers, our parents, our administrators, our community members, and our talented students.
Winston is currently Deputy Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction. She had been considered for the superintendent job when Oswald was hired in 2021. With just under 2 weeks to go until voters take to the polls, school officials in Brown County are doing all that they can to pass a referendum to increase student and staff salaries within the school corporation. Clayton Baumgarth spoke with school officials and parents to learn more.
In a presentation to community members on Monday evening, Superintendent Emily Tracy said that the 10-cent referendum passing is crucial to keeping talent within the county.
There's an incredible gap in what we're able to provide our teachers, and we're losing the best of the best because they can drive 15 minutes away and they can make $20,000+ more.
Last November, the school corporation attempted to renew a referendum that was approved in 2016. That vote failed by 333 votes, and on December 31st of last year, the referendum expired. Tracy says the largest cause of confusion among voters is how the public question is phrased on the ballot.
People read it and literally think their taxes are going to go up 28.16% and do not realize that that is just the school's portion that they're getting with this 10-penny referendum.
The school board says that continued wage freezes, larger class sizes for students, and cuts to athletics, academics, and the arts are on the chopping block if this referendum fails to pass. Ongoing funding issues could cause the corporation to dissolve and existing schools to be redistricted. At the presentation on Monday, school officials shared data on the district, like the fact that Brown County has the 8th lowest tax rate in the state, to those in support of the referendum and others who are interested in learning more.
It's important to me that it passes because my kids attend this school and will for many years. So I wanted to come tonight so that I better understood in case someone were to ask me, well, why are you voting yes?
Finley says that those opposing the measure aren't looking at the issue deep enough.
They're strictly looking at the dollar signs of the minuscule amount that's going to increase their taxes. And if they had the education behind that increase, 1, they would see that it's very minimal, and 2, they would see that it's worthwhile.
Ultimately, Tracy hopes that they've been able to inform voters as best they can before Election Day on May 7th.
Brown County kids are worth it. Just like Bloomington's kids are worth it, Columbus's kids are worth it, Edinburgh's kids are worth it, but we are sitting in this small rural school district, in the only school district in the entire county, and we have giants that are surrounding us.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Clayton Baumgarth.
Ellettsville is funding rural transit through 2024. The town council unanimously passed a $43,000 appropriation this week to keep the service provided by the Area 10 Agency on Aging going. And Joe Rural Transit provides door-to-door transportation on demand in non-urban parts of Monroe and 3 other counties.
All right, Kelly, thanks so much. Well, a pair of Indiana University students came up with an idea for a clothing brand that would draw attention to and raise money for an issue close to both of their hearts: learning differences. Grace Morocco has this story.
Seniors Josh Aronow and Alex Bean met through mutual friends and soon learned that they were both diagnosed with learning difficulties in elementary school.
So whether it was my mom giving me a long list of things to do or just paying attention in class, those things were just a little bit harder. But I was able to have that access to resources that allowed me to learn coping mechanisms and different skills to kind of counteract that.
For them, what started as an idea quickly turned into Twice Exceptional, a line of hoodies, hats, and t-shirts.
For us, this was like the perfect thing. You know, it felt like it was dropped into our laps and we had to do something with this.
The brand is one of the few granted a license under IU to use the university's likeness. That's why their latest hoodie design featured several IU icons on the back. They've also partnered with IU's accessible education services to send portions of their sales to help students with learning difficulties.
For us, if we're even able to impact a handful of students, that's incredible for us and just the beginning of the impact we want to have.
Bean and Arano hope to expand their business to a storefront, but ultimately their goal remains the same as when they started: to end the stigma surrounding learning differences.
We're priding ourselves in creating a community of those alike yet vastly different, where every time you put on a hoodie, it is your story, your failures, your triumphs. That's what makes you twice exceptional.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Grace Morocco.
That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnerships with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. Smithville Fiber Internet Security Solutions and Voice in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Bunger and Robertson Attorneys at Law, utilizing 75 years of experience, knowledge, and resources to help individuals and families recover in personal injury matters. Information at lawbr.com. And by WTIU members. Thank you.